Welcome back. Here is our next case study from CA Final MTP Law Old Course March 2021. That is our MTP1. Okay, let's go through the case study. Hibiscus Power Gear Limited HPL, an unlisted company, is one-stop shop for all the custom-built electrical switchboards, battery chargers, and bus ducts. It manufactures comprehensive range of products from small industrial distribution boards to the large state-of-art intelligent motor and power control centers. The registered office of the company is located in Baltangadi, and two manufacturing plants are suited at Dabaspet industrial area near Bangalore. HPL has been incurring huge losses for the last 3 years. There were accumulated losses to the extent of 19 crores as on 31st of March 2019. The board of directors had been evaluating all the possible options to bring the company back on the track. One of the options considered was corporate debt restructuring CDR with the creditors through compromise. Following data was extracted from the latest audited financial statements of HPL as on 31st of March 2019. So particulars and amount in crores was given. Secured creditors 8% debentures secured by creating charge on freehold property amounting to 20 crores. Accrued interest on 8% debentures. Cash credit availed from National Commercial Bank against hypothecation of stocks and book debts. So cash credit is 15 crores. Accrued interest is 1.6 crores. Unsecured creditors, loans from directors at 8% per annum, 30 crores. Trade payables, 18 crores. Other creditors are 0.4 crores. Okay. Total outstanding debt payable by HPL is 85 crores. Consequently, a scheme of corporate debt restructuring was consented by 78% of the secured creditor and all other stakeholders. Brief outline of the scheme are given below. 8% debenture holders were to take over the freehold property at the current valuation of 12 crores, that is book value of 8 crores, in part payment of their dues, and to provide additional 10 crores at 9% per annum secured by floating charge on the assets of HPL. Interest accrued on debentures was to be paid immediately. National Commercial Bank agreed to reduce interest rate from 11% per annum to 8% per annum on cash credit till next 1 year. It also, in principle, agreed to provide 3 crores as non-fund based limits for the period of 2 years. Directors were to waive off all the outstanding interest payable to them up to 31st of March 2019 and also uh, had no objection if interest rate on their loans was reduced to 6%. Suppliers and other creditors consented to waiving off their debts to the extent of all the amounts outstanding for the period beyond 2 years as on 31st of March 2019. In instance, HPL was required to pay only for the last 2 years to the suppliers and other creditors. Patents and goodwill were to be written off to the extent of 0.5 crores. Value of obsolete items in the inventory was quantified to 0.8 crores and was to be written off. Bad debts identified to the extent of 0.75 crores were to be written off. Remaining freehold property worth 15 crores was revalued at 23 crores. After the above excess, an application for the compromise was filed by HPL with the jurisdictional National Company Law Tribunal, in short, Tribunal, and made the necessary disclosures by filing an affidavit. The disclosures contained all the material facts and aspect of HPL, a copy of the scheme of corporate debt restructuring as consented to by the creditors, methodology on the basis of which creditors had been identified, creditors' responsibility statement in the prescribed form, safeguards for the protection of other secured and unsecured creditors, audit report, valuation report, etc. After hearing the application, the tribunal gave necessary directions in respect of conducting of the meeting of creditors, fixed the date and placed the meeting, gave directions for the appointment of the chairman and scrutinizer, fixed the quorum, stated the procedure to be followed at the meeting, including the methodology of voting, which could be either in person or by proxy or by postal ballot or by voting through electronic means, the time within which the chairperson was required to report the result of the meeting to the tribunal, etc. To ensure transparency that may facilitate all the stakeholders to take proper decisions, extensive disclosures were made by HPL along with the notice for the meeting, and then the company, as per the directions of the tribunal, sent notices to all the creditors and to all those who were entitled to receive it. Further, it was also sent to the all relevant regulators seeking their representations. In addition, the notice was advertised in English in Times of India and in the local Kannada newspaper Udyavani in Kannada language. The company also published the notice on its website. It is worth noting that United Belts Private Limited UBPL, supplying some of the components of HPL, had raised objections to the proposed scheme of compromise after receiving the notice. As on 31st of March 2019, HPL was required to pay 0.8 crores to UBPL for the supply of various components. The meeting was duly convened and the majority, representing 78% of the value of creditors, agreed to the scheme of compromise. The tribunal provided for the protection of minority creditors and by an order sanctioned the scheme of compromise relating to corporate debt restructuring, that is corporate debt structuring CDR, after considering the certificate issued by the auditor of HPL. The order of the tribunal was filed with the registrar by HPL within the specified period of the receipt of order. However, in the due course of time, HPL faced many practical hurdles in the implementation of the scheme of compromise sanctioned by the tribunal. So this is what the case study. Now we need to answer the multiple choice questions that are based on this case study. Okay, let's go through it. 6. The case scenario states that an application for compromise was filed by HPL with a jurisdictional NCLT along with all the necessary documents including audit report. From the following options, choose the one which the auditor must include in the audit report when the application for compromise relates to the scheme of corporate debt restructuring. So what should the auditor take care of? We'll go through this screenshot. Go through the point number 3. Report by the auditor that the funds requirement of the company after the corporate debt restructuring as approved shall conform to the liquidity test based upon the estimates provided to them by the board. So it should conform with the liquidity test. That is what the auditor should check. So now we'll go through the options. Option A says that all the fixed assets of HPL have been properly revalued by the registrar valuer. No, that is not the requirement. It is speaking about the liquidity test. So option A is wrong. Option B says that the total value of creditors shown in the financial statements of HPL is true and correct and there are no material discrepancies. Even this is not the one that auditor needs to take care of. I mean, this is not the one that auditor need to include in his audit report. We'll go through option C. That the fund requirements of HPL after the corporate debt restructuring as approved shall conform to the liquidity test based upon the estimates provided to the auditor by the board of HPL. Yes, this is the correct option that we are looking for. Option C is the correct option. Option D says that all the contents of application and other documents submitted to the tribunal are true and correct to the best of his knowledge and belief and reflect the true and fair position of the HPL as on the date of submission. No, this is not the one. The correct option is auditor should confirm with the liquidity test. Okay. Option C is the correct option for 6th MCQ. 7th MCQ. According to the case scenario, with a view to ensure transparency that might facilitate all the stakeholders to take proper decisions, extensive disclosures were made by HPL along with the notice of meeting and the notices were sent to all the creditors and all those who are entitled to receive it. As regards the adoption of the compromise, the notice needs to provide that the person to whom the notice is sent may vote in the meeting either themselves or through proxies or by postal ballot within 1 month from the date of receipt of such notice. I'll take you through the screenshot. Yes, here it is. Vote to the adoption of compromise and or arrangement. A notice shall provide that the persons to whom the notice is sent may vote in the meeting either themselves or through proxies or postal ballot to the adoption of compromise or arrangement within 1 month from the date of receipt of such notice. Therefore, option B is the correct option for this question. Okay. This is a straightforward question. No need of, I think there is no need of discussing with other options. Question number 8. It is stated in the case scenario that United Belts Private Limited, supplying some of the components to HPL, had raised objections to the proposed scheme of compromise. For raising any objection to the scheme of compromise, the value of UBPL as trade creditor in the books of HPL must be not less than 5% of the total outstanding debt as per the audited financials as on 31st of March 2019 of HPL. Option A is the correct option, but still I'll take you through the screenshot. Now go through the second paragraph. Provided that any objection to the compromise or arrangement shall be made only by persons holding not less than 10% of the shareholding or having outstanding debt amounting to not less than 5% of the total outstanding debt as per the latest audited financial statement. Here, UBPL is a creditor. It means it should hold at least 5% of the total outstanding debt. Only then it has a right to object the same. Therefore, option A is the correct option. Question number 9. The notice was also sent to all the relevant regulators seeking their representations, which was to be made within the specified time from the date of receipt of such notice. From the following options, choose the one which specifies the correct time period for making representations. It is 30 days from the date of receipt of notice, but still I will take you through the screenshot. See, it is saying notice to sectorial regulators to make representations if likely to be affected by the compromise or arrangement. A notice along with the documents in such form as may be prescribed shall be sent to all the required regulatories, and they shall require, and those regulatories shall require that representations, if any, to be made by them shall be made within a period of 30 days from the date of receipt of such notice, failing which it shall be presumed that they have no representations to make on the proposals. Therefore, option C is the correct option. It is representations needs to be made within 30 days from the date of receipt of notice. Okay, let's go through the last MCQ on this case study. According to the case scenario, the tribunal, while providing for the protection of minority creditors, sanctioned by an order of scheme of compromise relating to the corporate debt structuring, after considering the certificate issued by the auditor of HPL. The auditor's certificate at the sanctioning stage shall be to the effect that the accounting treatment, if any, proposed in the scheme of compromise by HPL is in conformity with the prescribed accounting standards. That is, option C is the correct option. We'll take you to the screenshot where I have checked out this. See, this particular above 9th point, provided that no compromise or arrangement shall be sanctioned by the tribunal unless a certificate by the company auditor has been filed with the tribunal to the effect that the accounting treatment, if any, proposed in the scheme of compromise or arrangement is in conformity with the accounting standards prescribed under section 133 of the Act. Therefore, the correct option to this question is option C. The accounting treatment, if any, proposed in the scheme of compromise by HPL is in conformity with the prescribed accounting standards. Hope you are clear with this case study. With this, we have completed the second case study of our MTP 1, that is March 2021 MTP of CA Final Law Old Course. Hope these videos are helpful to you. If you find these videos useful, please do like, share and subscribe. Share with your friends and help them to revise at the earliest. Thanks for watching.